What's going on, guys? How you doing? My name is Chris Thompson, or better known on Instagram as Never Proper Arts, and today I'm going to teach you how I made this poster in Photoshop. Let's just get right into it. So in Photoshop, I'm making a 16 by 20 design here with 300 DPI. I'm going to hit create, and right now I just have a blank canvas. So my inspiration was playing Lego Fortnite last night, so that's what we're going to be typing into Google here. So I'm not going to lie to you, finding a good quality picture was tough, but if you go into advanced search, you should be able to go into image size and look for anything that's higher than 6 megabytes. This is going to make the process a lot more easier, as in these pictures are going to be a lot more high quality. And as you can see right here, I'm going to choose this picture and I'm going to drag it right into Photoshop. So now I got the picture in Photoshop. I'm basically just going to size it up to what I think is appropriate. Then I'm going to head over to levels here in just a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down the darks in the photo, but also bring up the lights. I really want the colors here to pop, even though it's a vintage poster. I do want that color pop in this design. So right here, what I'm doing is just grabbing a soft brush to the picture. I'm trying to make a fade to white kind of thing for the picture. This was the idea I had in my head, so that's where basically the caption, or like, the header of this flyer is going to be. So after 10 long minutes, I finally do come up with a caption. I'm not psyched of how it looks, but that's always going to change within a design. But right now, in this footage that you're seeing here, I'm basically just trying to find a layout that looks cool. As you see, I have a box that I'm playing around with here. This is always changing, especially with my designs. This is why it's hard for me to make these videos, just because there's so much footage to just sit and watch and afterdub, because I don't even know what's going on in my head. So I'm basically just going to fast forward here to a final design that I think looks good. So as you can see, a lot of the picture has changed. The header font is now more kerned and condensed, and the subtext is present and lined up. Now what I'm doing is adding a rectangle here, and what I'm going to do is add the second picture into it. And I never explained this to you guys. The font that I'm using for the header is Futura, and the subtext is Apple Garamond. And now what I'm going to be doing here is just lining up the picture with the subtext, and I'm actually going to go grab the picture right here, and I'm basically just going to put it right into the rectangle. So what I'm doing now is basically just lining up the picture, and as you're going to see here in a second, the subtext to the actual header font, so everything is consistent with each other. I'm trying to get these picky grids to, like actually snap on and stay in place. And I also have a horrible Bluetooth mouse that I got with my Mac, because I'm not spending like $90 on a Magic Mouse. But yeah, as you can see right here now, I'm actually going to take this subtext and I'm just going to make it a bit smaller and try to play around with the size of it just to make it fit. And I end up stretching text. Don't roast me in the comments, please. I don't think it looked bad. And me personally, I stretch text all the time in my designs and they turn out pretty sick. But, to each their own, I guess. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically just taking the header and I'm just making the spacing of the words a bit more tighter. I didn't know why I didn't do this in the first place, but you know what? On a whim, I just did it and it turned out a lot better. What I'm going to do now is I'm basically just going to take the subtext and the rectangle and I'm just going to move it up just to fit the text and the picture just a little bit better and have everything kind of, be more cohesive with each other. Now that I got everything where I want it to be, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into Google here. I'm going to find the Fortnite and Lego logos. That is such a tongue twister. Don't even get me started. But now I'm just going to find, the ones that I think are the best, and I'm just going to drag them into the design. So after I sized up the text and fit it under the subtext where it fit perfectly, I'm taking the second picture here and giving it the treatment like I did to the first picture, where I'm making the darks just a bit more darker and bringing up the lights more so you can see what's going on in the picture and it just pops out a lot better. So after giving this picture a final review, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to print out the actual design onto a printer and rescan it in. I do this to all my designs and I recommend it, especially if you're going for that vintage look within your designs. It flattens out colors, it makes everything a bit more grainy. Trust me on this, you're going to see here in a second of how cool this looks when I scan it back in. Now that I have it scanned in, what I'm going to do now is I just lowered the opacity and I'm just going to match it to the actual size of the design that I made before I scanned it in. After everything is said and done, what I'm going to be doing is heading over to Camera Raw Filter. Now, I am not an expert when it comes to Camera Raw Filter. I pretty much mess with everything that looks good to me. So I'm going to shut my mouth and kind of just let you guys watch this little process here, because I can't even explain it. I just do whatever looks good. So yeah, here's that. Now before I finish off this design, what I'm going to be doing now is just adding some textures. Right here I'm adding like a tan paper. I'm just sizing it up to fit the whole screen. Then I'm just going to go to blending modes and change it to multiply and just change the opacity down just a little bit, just enough to where you can sort of tell it's tan, but also it's not overpowering. I don't really like designs where one texture is just overpowering everything. The next texture I added is this black paper here. I don't know why I added it to begin with. I thought it looked really good, especially when you put it on screen. You just lower it a little bit. A lot of that contrast comes back, but as you can see, I kind of lowered it. It also adds some cool little grit to the text as well. And when I zoomed in, you saw little speckles on there. So that's not that bad. I'm just messing with it, kind of getting a nice look for it. I don't want it to be too contrasty, but I also want it, to pop just a little bit. The final texture and the final piece of the puzzle within this design that I put into it is a black market copy scan. I love everything black market makes, and especially their copy scans. If you don't have them, I highly recommend you get them. But besides that, I'm just basically fighting with the opacity. I'm trying to make it look a bit more gritty with the text, but also not make it too contrasty. But besides that, that's pretty much the whole poster. That's the design process. It didn't really take me long to make this poster too, but you know what, to each their own. I'm just happy that I kind of showed you my process. I'm not great at explaining anything, and this is my first video, but if you have any questions, please just reach out in the comments. I'm happy to answer. But if you guys like the video, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my links in the description, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace out.